Chapter 4 6 months later, 3rd November 2008. The Lady Mayor and the Vicar stood on either side of something tall, covered in burgundy velvet fabric, edged with golden trim and tassels. Whatever it was had a granite plinth. In front of them was a large crowd gathered on top of Appleton Hill, overlooking what was left of the town of Kistowich. Most people wearing black, with their heads bowed low. "We are gathered here to remember those who died in the flood, and to erect this monument as an everlasting reminder that we will never forget," said the mayor. The vicar read some passages from his Bible, and as the gentle wind blew from behind him, tossing the tufts of grey hair over his ears, it carried his words over the entire crowd listening in silence. They all prayed, and a few of the townsfolk stood up to call out the names of loved ones they had lost. It wasn't long before Zach's father's name was read out, and from then on he heard very little, and just felt his mum's reassuring hug as she stood next to him. His gaze carried on past the vicar and over the town. It looked like a building graveyard with brick, metal, and concrete corpses stripped of any identifying features, weathered like sandcastles in the wind, indistinguishable from one another. Pylons and streetlights looked like twisted towers of metal, bringing with them electrical hazards and power cuts that had plunged the town into complete darkness. Tide marks on the sides of the building showed where floodwater once was, and the place his family had originally called home was nothing now but a ghost town full of scattered remains, with only the cinema, the bank, Glenbrook Abbey, and the old well still in good standing. Despite the efforts of the army and the emergency services, no one had a chance, and all rescue missions had long since been abandoned after everyone had cleared out. The military had moved in and erected an electrified perimeter fence with razor wire encircling the town. Warning signs on the chain link fences: "Keep out, trespassers will be shot by order of the army," and "Danger, high voltage 10,000 volts." At the entrance to the town was a rising roadblock buried into the ground with hazard warning signs painted on it, and an armed guard sat in a small hut wearing camouflage clothing with an SA-80 standard issue assault rifle by his side. The sign next to the hut read "Military Station C472, Kistowich." Throughout most of the town, the streets and pavements, which once bustled with traffic and pedestrians, were now littered with rubble and debris from the knee-high remnants of buildings completely levelled during the disaster. The boy's attention shifted as the Lady Mayor of New Haven stood in front of the microphone. She made a small speech, tugged on a gold cord, and the burgundy velvet cover slid off, revealing a large granite cross 10 feet tall. At the base was a representation of the dam with a large engraved plaque. Zach scanned his eyes across the plaque, and although the words were too small to see where he was standing, he could make out rows upon rows of names etched into the metal. The lines on the plaque became blurry, and his mind filled with memories. He remembered watching TV with his father, and the way his dad would shout at the commentators that he could be a better referee. Memories flooded back of that day at the lake when his brother was trying to get in the boat, did the splits and fell in. Memories of the way his mum's hair used to blow around in the wind, and the smiles that his mum and dad always gave each other made his lip curl upward, and for a moment he forgot where he was. They were so in love, and it showed, not that gross love where they were always kissing and embarrassing him and his brother, but that holding hands and cuddling love. where they could watch a film with each other and drink the odd glass of wine now and then. A million more memories exploded in his brain all at once, and then, as soon as they appeared, they'd gone again. He let go of his mum's hand, loosened his tie, unbuttoned his shirt collar, and a tear ran down his face. And like that, the service ended. People started to leave in silence. In the distance, a car disrupted the somberness with its screeching sirens and flashing lights, and some of the mourners turned to see what was going on. The noise got louder, and the car stopped just meters away from the crowd. Two burly-looking men got out, and they marched towards the mourners. "Excuse us, ladies and gentlemen. We just need to talk to someone," said the smaller cop. "What's this all about, officer?" asked the mayor. The second cop stepped forward, opened his jacket, pulled some papers out of his pocket, unfolded them, and then thrust his arm outstretched towards the crowd, with the papers crumpled in his fist. "Rebecca Drummond of 19 Ashbrook Road, Kistowich, we have a warrant for your arrest in connection to the bombing of the Hayworth Dam," the second cop said out loud. The crowd gasped, and everyone looked at Zach's mum. "What? That's impossible!" she exclaimed with a look of complete disbelief on her face. "We have evidence. You're coming with us." The tallest officer placed his handcuffs around Rebecca's wrists as the crowd watched in shock. "She blew up the dam?" asked one man. "I knew it was her. I never liked her," said another. "My husband died because of you," an angry crowd member shouted. Dylan looked at the floor, not sure what to say or do. "It wasn't—" Zach cut Rebecca off. "Mom, I can't believe this. Daddy's gone because of you." He reached into his pocket, pulled out the Real Pen Pro, tossed it on the floor, and then, in a deliberate moment of anger, he stamped on it, smashing it to pieces. Rebecca looked at him. What had she done? Why couldn't she remember? "I hate you!" cried Zach, and he turned to his grandmother and hugged her, sobbing, as his mother was put into the car and driven away. Dylan just watched. It couldn't be her, he thought to himself.